1,556 units and construct 47 new units at 327 North Harbor for a total of 1,600 new units. That's an increase of 1,168. Of these, just first there's the replacement units, the 432 for affordable housing, another 564 that would be new affordable housing for rent, 480 new market rate rent for rent, and 45 affordable for sale, and 32 market rate for sale.
So that's 480 is not for sale?
And that one should say for rent. Yeah, it was a mistake. And in addition to that, there would be the 47 affordable rates at the 327 North Harbor. So I also wanted to report on the EIR that they did, and we commented on, has been finalized. And there were two changes that they put into the EIR as a result of public comments. One of the things that we commented on was that they had used the household size of San Pedro to indicate growth, and we felt they should use the household size of Rancho San Pedro. We felt that was more appropriate, and they agreed, and they went back and changed all their figures as a result. But it didn't have any impact, as it turned out. But they did change.
Increase the number.
Yeah, but they changed all the figures. The other change they made was based on comments from the SCAQMD, and it had to do with the air quality emissions. And they had, again, underestimated the air quality emissions and had gone back and in their final EIR made all of those corrections. So sometimes comments on EIRs do have an impact. So the draft comments that are before us starts out with talking about the fact that the proposal has a lot of positive aspects for the community, but there's some areas that need to be addressed.
Grace Molina.
Whoops. First one it looks at is parking. And currently, Rancho San Pedro has a half of a parking space per unit. In the plan, they would increase that to 1 parking space per unit, which actually would meet code. But the comments say, even though that's true, it still isn't enough, and it encourages them to increase the parking and gives some rationale for that. The second area.
So they're doubling the parking, they're still not enough.
Yeah.
Well, because it's just third and fourth paragraphs on the first page. Detail kind of why.
Why it's, oh, here we go. There is one change. There is a paragraph that starts out, while we applaud the efforts to get people out of their cars. That one I had to make some corrections to what you have, because it I don't know what happened. It didn't make sense. So it now reads, while we applaud the efforts to get people out of their cars, the inclusion of shared vehicles, bicycle parking, and enhanced attractiveness of the bus stops are not sufficient to offset the demand for parking. Located at the end of a peninsula, San Pedro has woefully inadequate public transit that none of these conditions can rectify, and Metro has no planned improvements for connectivity to San Pedro. Cars are a necessity.
Unless we get our numbers up. Metro has said if we get our population numbers up and our ridership up, it will increase transit services. It's the chicken and the egg.
They're all density. That's exactly
Yeah, but
right.
that's Metro. I have this, that's what they keep saying.
That's that section. The next one is the section on project land uses. And we say that it should be amended basically to provide information that they actually had in their EIR, which is what type of units are included in each of the 3 phases, and breakdown of the number of units by bedroom sizes, just give more specific information. And then we also, this is where we talk about the library.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Which was something we talked about in our comments on the EIR, that there should be a library. Now, in response to our comments, they did say that there is a bus that goes not from them, but you could ride public transit to get to the library.
Public transit.
So we could,
you know it, and I remember that from prior, and this, I like this report, I read it today, but just the time thing, who would run that? You're hoping for San Pedro somewhere to have like a satellite?
Probably library services.
They have outreach librarians. I mean, that
There's a couple ways.
Yeah.
It's a very much needed.
Should
Should say very much.
Very much needed, all right? You're talking about the library.
Library, first sentence.
Is very much,
I'm
okay.
just thinking of the gal that runs the book bike program, and I can't think of her name right. now,
Yeah.
but maybe there's creative ways, she's the mobile bike.
We're, yeah, build it. Things will happen.
We'll figure it out.
The next comments are on the section on permitted uses. And there's a chart in there that says what uses are permitted in each of their different phases, or each of their different sub areas. And although no place in there does it address liquor stores, auto repair shop, and bars, and I just suggested to make it clear that you put those in, so they're not allowed, but to make it clear, those should go into that chart. And then they also have some that seem to be, maybe should be eliminated from the chart that are shown as permitted uses, that include hostels, hotels, microbrewery, bed and breakfast inn, and wine bars.
Seems
All
odd.
seem to be inappropriate to put in there. So that says that they're not compatible with the goals of this project.
What would that do for being, excuse me, for Airbnbs? I mean, people I can see people buying these things and saying, hey, we're gonna run a B&B out of them.
This would not, right now, it would allow it. This suggestion would say you should not allow it.
Is the city that still online?
Pamela, still there?
There's
Yeah,
been a
Pam's
problem in a lot of cities and they've been doing some things to,
Well, there's only 60 units for sales.
I guess it's somebody running a place and then subletting.
I know.
But they've toughened up the Airbnb regulations.
Did they?
There's making it more difficult. You have to live in the unit a certain number of days.
Yeah, you can only rent
Rent
it
it a certain, yeah,
for
so
100 days or so out of the year.
But this, right now, the way they've worded it, it would be allowed, and the recommendation here is that it should not be allowed.
Yeah.
The next section was on traffic control, and it does a couple of things. The first one is it says, they talk about South Harbor Boulevard having excess capacity. So it challenges that should be deleted. The next thing they talk about is that the Harbor Boulevard will be right lanes will be made into bus only lanes. Well, that's not even what the port proposed. So it takes on that and explains that all of that should be deleted, besides which it doesn't belong in their specific plan. The next section is a motor vehicle section, and this is the part that, as you can see by the photos, this is the part that Jason did, requesting that they add a footbridge over Harbor Boulevard.
And it was Jason, wasn't it in one of the original documents or drawings that we saw, the
Yes.
pedestrian bridge over?
Yes, and
Harbor?
one of those photos is one of their renderings.
That's okay, that's good.
And I've had to add, in the version you got, I had to add a sentence that I inadvertently deleted, which says it might also allow visitors to park in the port's parking lot on the other side of the harbor if visitor passes were available to them.
Okay, what we have.
Yeah, well,
And they were charged.
well, if visitor passes would be, they wouldn't charge.
The port would maintain the pedestrian walkway bridge.
And then the last section was on the urban forestry standards. And it says, it talks about the fact that as they're updating the community plan, they're creating new landscaping standards for San Pedro, and that those are the ones that should be referenced in their document. And then finally, the arborist report that Alan did. So those are the proposed comments.
I was really pleased with them and the update from the last ones that we had, that I remember had libraries. So I was fascinated by Alan's report and everything around here, there was a lot of stuff, about a lot of stuff, stuff.
Right.
It's nice. Yeah, I know they did a great job, both of them. Really was.
Files everywhere.
There's one major point.
So I think that if that satellite library would directly complements the the program that they've talked about working with students and, tutoring centers and all those services that they've been talking about for residents. I'm just, maybe there's another sentence we could throw in. I'm gonna think about it. If it's just strengthening that paragraph on the satellite library.
Land use.
This would directly complement,
Programs related to, education, students, continuing education for adults. I just think it completely complements their mission
Well, it does.
for the residents.
Well, used to have a tutoring program in the afternoon, and come over from the projects into the cafeteria, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it would be kind of a nice feature to have as a connecting point for the community,
Right,
because, I mean, they have the open space, but if you're not using that,
right.
at least it would give you an excuse to go in that area.
Yeah, in the library. I mean, it'd be great, yeah, if it were open to the entire community. It would be wonderful, because you're right, it'd be a great connection point to further integrate One San Pedro into the overall community.
At least, what do you think of that idea? Maybe they had a remote library, not in their specific plan, but is there some place that they could do it? In the community, like on Fifth Street or Sixth Street or anything like that?
I don't know. I mean, I think it makes sense with building out One San Pedro for that location.
Yeah.
And then maybe if we had a satellite, we could start the renovations on the current library that we have. I know the council member's been talking about, and I know Sergio and I talked about the renovations needed for the current library.
Elise, name escapes me, the head librarian. Was telling me that the city was gonna come in and do a new roof at the cost of whatever, and he said. He was trying to stall that because there's all kinds of things around. He was pointing out, Dave Ellis, he was pointing out all the cracks in the walls and the ceiling. And he said, I'm not sure this is gonna hold up a $600,000 roof.
Yeah, it needs love. I mean, I'm there every week. It needs love. And the parking lot needs attention and I know, and I think Sergio, if you're there, am I mistaken? Wasn't there some money put into the budget for some renovation work at the library? It's not with us, so Pamela, but maybe we can ask for an update on that. At our next, Javier, at our next.
This is
There it
Sergio.
is.
There was some money in the budget. For the life of me, I'm at home, not the office, so I can't tell
Okay.
you how much it was, but I can get that for you tomorrow.
Or maybe, yeah, we can agendize it for the next meeting.
Sure.
It's.
Perfect.
I can't, I know we talked parking lot, landscape, the roof, I know there was buckets in the library at one point, so I don't, but maybe Sergio, maybe our next meeting, we can talk about it,
But the cracks in the
Perfect.
wall.
and
Will
the
do.
cracks in the wall, it needs.
They was trying to get an engineering report, and I was gonna ask him around sitting there the other day, but he was available.
Maybe we can meet with him, maybe a group of, I would love to do that, maybe a group of us. Yeah, meet with him and really talk about how we can support that library.
Yeah.
and maybe.
Anita, thank you, yes. Yeah, because it needs love.
It's dreary.
It's dreary. It needs love.
I would like to entertain a motion from someone from Northwest with two additions to the library section. The one that would directly complement related educational or something to that effect. And the other one with the idea of it being open to the entire community would further integrate RSP with the entire community. Yep. So
I'll move that.
Tom moved,
Second.
Pat moved second. Yes, Northwest is a quorum. So, or Northwest, Linda Alexander,
Yes.
Mark Ashfield.
Yes.
Craig is not here. Jason Herring,
Aye.
Tom Norman.
Aye.
Pat Nave,
Yes.
Diana Nave, unanimous. So, thank you. I will say to the other two that this is gonna, by early January, you've got to get these in. So probably your December board meetings are the time you're gonna have to.
We're not having one. No December.
Central.
I don't know about coastal. I don't know what we're doing.
Well, maybe early January, I don't,
Yeah.
I just,
Did we lose Lamar?
yeah, you lost Lamar.
There's three of us.
So you lost your form?
Yeah, yes.
So I mean, we can move it forward because there's three of us here, right? Are you comfortable, Alan? Okay, so I'm gonna move that coastal accepts or adopts the comments for the one San Pedro specific plan.
And I'm gonna second it. And I'll check, see if there's a meeting.
Okay,
So one of you needs to call roll.
What do you got?
oh, Alan France,
Yeah.
Mona Stoughton, yes, Lee Swanson, yes.
And Robin's here. Robin votes.
Thank you.
I vote yes. I like Bridget.
Okay.
Just in time.
Well, Robin can't vote because she can't vote.
Can't vote on screen.
Glad we support it, but you can't vote when you're not here physically.
Okay, no problem.
Sorry. Until
And
we
we-
get that ironed out.
But you guys got it.
Do we have December meeting?
Yes, we will.
Okay,
You've got a couple of PIR. But you have to act on it.
Yes.
We want our committee to vote.
Yes.
Even.
I'm gonna ask for a motion on that.
I'll make a motion.
I'll
Frank,
second.
yeah.
Very
All
good.
in favor? Aye.
Very good.
Okay. Thank you. I'll send you the revised one.
Yeah, I guess the only thing I was gonna add on that, on the traffic, like perhaps consideration maybe of like using diagonal crossings in certain areas, particularly that or the harbor. Because what it does is allows pedestrian flow and then traffic, when it goes clear. They don't have to worry about people getting at the intersection. So it provides a level of safety for pedestrians and flow of traffic.
Tic tac toe.
Or build a bridge, or a tunnel. Very good. Anything else on that? Or we can move on to,
For the games.
Going map.
yes,
Yeah.
okay. So let me see.
Yeah, use a whole name, like somebody of our board used initials and the teacher challenged it, so we should sign the whole name.
Challenged it?
Well, here it was this, initial scribble thing,
Oh.
and nobody could read it.
Oh.
6:30.
It's a pretty initial.
and I, there wasn't me.
I guess in that case, beauty didn't count.
My handwriting, I can read other people's weird handwriting.
So we're gonna move on to the next item, which is comments on the zoning update. And here's the website link to that.
I've sent out this story map for everyone to look at. I wonder if anyone looked at it besides me.
I didn't make it.
Looked at it a while back. There are updates to it.
I don't know if there were updates
Okay.
since then or not, but I saw a couple of things I wanted to suggest be changed. And I don't know. I think these things probably ought to go back to our individual committees and be looked at further. So I'm just I'm just throwing them out here for consideration and for your own thoughts. The first one was that they have a slide that shows the proposed historic district. And I suggested it also show the Vinegar Hill boundaries, because I think it would make more sense to be able to see them side by side. Second thing is that, as they're creating the standards for the construction in historic, I would like to see them incorporate tile entryways in one of those standards. It's one of the things I think that is so nice about our downtown.
Yeah.
The third one is specific to Northwest. And that's to change the industrial on North Daffy that is currently dark blue to a light, from heavy industrial to light industrial. This is the area that is currently the Rancho holding. And so I just say that the zoning is inappropriate given the proximity to homes. The next thought was to change the area from Nelson to Mesa between Fifth and Sixth, that little short half block from regional commercial to community center. When they came in and wanted to put in that
18.
building.
I know what exactly you're talking about,
Basically, the change would lower the allowable height.
so we don't get a 12-story tower.
Oh, 18.
Yeah. That was the next proposal.
Yeah.
The next one is that the map should show the Gaffey Greenbelt and the Channel Street skate park as government because they're areas owned by the port and they're not shown as government. And then the last one I noticed was at the Welcome Park, and that little park that's at the foot of the hill across from Bandini Canyon, they don't show up as parks
Don't show up where.
on the story plan map. So I'm just suggesting that everyone go and take a look at that and see, because there are probably other things that I didn't see that
Right.
if you look at it closely that might come to mind. And then we could take a look at it in our individual communities and come back with whatever we.
It's the map that the gal from planning said it's a work in progress. Okay.
And she sent it to us to look at,
Right,
comments
okay.
on.
Mhm.
And so we can either take these comments and do something with them, or we can. I mean, we could act on this tonight if you wanted to. Or you could do individual committees, however you want to.
Robin, do we wanna agendize the zoning map at our next meeting for any comment?
Yeah, I was thinking we should do that too. Yes.
Okay, so we'll,
Yeah.
We'll do the same. And I don't know if anybody had a chance to do their individual comments on the item that were due last week on the upzone. They had a survey
Oh, the survey.
that was due like on the 15th or
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I did.
I sent it out, but
I posted it on Facebook in the St. Peter.
So I don't know if Northwest wants to act on this tonight, if we want to wait until we meet in December. and Look at it. We could do, I mean, we could send these in as initial comments and send them later.
I moved to act.
Oh, so you move, yes? Okay,
You're a rock.
okay, so we'll take a vote on that. To forward these to the staff person at planning. Linda Alexander, Rock Ashfield,
Yes.
sent Jason Herring,
Yes, but is there any complication adding comments to this later then?
any complication?
Any complication adding comments to this later then if we?
No, we can always say, no, but we'll say in the cover, these are just some initial comments. Tom Norman, Pat Nave,
Yeah.
Diana, so it's unanimous. Okay. That way we can act on it and at least get these comments into them, and I think just everyone else.
yeah,
Can.
How they are,
The other,
I'd like to make a motion to do the same and with the lead in that says these are initial comments.
okay.
Reserve the right for more. I'll make a motion. Frank, all in favor? Yay.
Very good.
okay. The other thing, which is what. Javier was putting up on the screen.
Yeah, the earlier.
It was, I went in and looked at just part of the new zoning code, and that was the form,
Yes, it
Form.
form one of the,
and it's, I think people should look at it and just kind of begin to familiarize ourselves with it, because it's gonna be very different. You know, we're used to R1, R2, we kind of know what those things mean. Well, this has lots and lots and lots of categories, and they talk about the it's really specific and there's a lot, so there's gonna be, when they apply it to the existing one, it's gotta be very lot specific almost. And it shows what the requirements are without a bonus, and then what they are with a bonus. And the bonus would be based on public benefits, and I didn't find the section on public benefits, so so I'm not quite sure what that includes. But it deals with minimum lot size, minimum lot width, the percent of lot coverage by the building or structures, the open space, amenity space, planting standard, sidewalk width, maximum heights, and at what point they have to do setbacks, the upper stories. They have height transition standards, which I really would appreciate if you would look at that. That's 2-98. It was very interesting to look at it because it was just so different than the existing code, and at some point we're going to have to understand it.
I think what they're trying to do is kind of like create an imaginary box of what the building could be the maximum size. So they take into account setbacks, height limitations, stepping back for massing. So they kind of come up with the end result, and then that's your maximum buildable
Which is
area.
supposed to make it easier, right, for people that want, I mean, you're an architect. that
I think
want to
eventually
develop.
it's going to make it easier because you apply the same rules
Mhm.
based on the zoning, but the concept is the same. It's just gonna take a little bit of time to get used to the new concept. And I haven't looked at it particularly in detail, but I think I'll take a look at what the Annabus.
And I just suggest everyone take a look at it, just so you kind of begin to familiarize yourself. And that's just one of the 5 elements. Remember, there were 5 different elements in the new code.
I wonder if the new code, if city planning folks are gonna have a program in their computers to apply this code lot by lot. to make
They
it
probably will,
easy.
because it will allow them to do
Right.
something like that. And then it's a building within that frame.
Yeah. It's amazing.
And then there are a lot of times it will say that you can make a 20% change with just a administrative approval, and anything over that, then you have to go to like a CUP.
Yeah,
In one case, it was a 10% change, so you kind of see what the flexibility is to go over that.
I wonder if the homeowner or the property owner will have access to be able to. Figure out what those boundaries are.
Oh, yeah, everyone will.
yeah.
Everyone will.
Somebody.
Yeah, this particular form of zoning has been used by other cities, and it's called form-based zoning. So we're kind of catching up with that. That's
Wow.
seems to be the trend where everybody's going.
A question. We had an economic forecast on our campus a few weeks ago. Are you guys familiar with Azure Printed Homes, Gene Eidelman?
No.
Say that again?
The zoning changes are really interesting, and at our economic forecast a few weeks ago, I met a CEO that does 3D printed homes, but not with cement, but with like fiberglass, more eco. And he was talking about what these new zoning opportunities too. I don't know if we've looked at it in San Pedro, but around Carson and other areas, just a incredible opportunity to 3D print homes that fit in different sizes or lots. So I'm sure folks are aware of that. I'm going to try to do a visit to see his business in January, but if folks are interested, that is just a new option that could help us with some of the housing issues we face.
No, I think
Take the pictures, if you go see
Yeah.
one, I'd love to see
Yeah,
it too.
He's located right by the campus in Carson, so.
Okay.
there's pictures on the internet of pre-print.
Of 3D, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, check it out.
There's, I don't,
Go on YouTube. Excuse me.
I'm gonna
and it's supposed to be cheaper in the long run to build, fast and a lot faster to build. But I don't know that the code in Los Angeles allows it, and it's.
No, and I think you said it did. So it's Azure Printed Homes, if people want to Google that and look at that. what he liked, his vision is the cement ones have a lot of emissions and stuff. So this used fiberglass and other more environmental friendly things to become waterproof. So he was showing, I'm not exactly sure how it works. Maybe fiberglass isn't the best either, but it, at least the pitch he is giving all of us, looked really neat and how it could look, at least aesthetically, what we saw, it looked pretty good, and his demand is really picking up for two ends. People with really expensive property like by the beach that just have a weird shape, and then homeless. And I think, he's kind of geared more towards some of the needs for these new zoning regulation on that.
Pat's in here looking at one being built right now.
Yeah, I think,
And you-
as a housing solution is definitely a way to deliver quickly. I don't know that it solves every housing issue, but it does solve that quick delivery of housing for the needy. So definitely good way to do that. Okay, any further comments or questions?
I just want to say that what I sent out today had at the top of it, the link to the form that we were just talking about.
Yes, right there.
Okay.
Very good. So let's see, we're gonna move on to the next item. Item 7, comments on affordable housing streamlining ordinance, CF 25-0623. And Robin, take it away.
I don't have an update for you guys. The CPC hearing was, I guess, a couple, 3 weeks ago. I can't remember the date, but they just issued the report. So, and I haven't had a chance to look at it. So I will probably put it on the agenda for our LUPIC this year, but I'll bring an update to the next meeting for sure.
We get that.
Okay. Very good. So we'll move on to.
And that's too much to consider to do. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I sent out, yeah, but moment, yeah.
Okay, so the next item is comments on proposal for housing at 502 North Jaffe.
That's what's their place?
502 North.
502 North
Um,
Jaffe.
What's their names?
Oh, the group, Parker Palace?
Wait, hold on. I need you to go in. I have too much brain parade on my brain. Hold on. 502.
That's the kitchen cabinet?
Yeah, the kitchen cabinet place.
Oh, that corner property.
Pamela asked us about comments on it.
Well, so she had also asked the owners, the Nader family, to reach
Nader.
out and have a conversation about their plans, and they have not reached out. So I can call them. I think she gave me their contact information. I know Sergio's still on the phone, but they have not reached out.
Said you put housing there.
Yeah.
I'm still here.
So according to Pamela, and I don't understand it, Sergio, maybe, because I don't get it either. I do not, I've never driven on into that lot. Pamela said they also own some property behind the showroom that they might incorporate into the lot, but I still don't understand how they could do.
I think there's some units back there.
There's not enough space.
Right, I just.
We should look at the building as far as the corner of the regional park. Each room.
Jaffe Place.
Yeah.
I drove into the parking lot to look.
See, I'm
And I had a horrible time getting out of the parking.
Exactly.
Out of there.
Yeah, well,
Well, I think by the time you do setbacks and other things, you end up with a very small footprint that is not really doable for anything, particularly parking.
I wish we could buy it, and turn it into an exit park, but we don't have any funding. But, I just don't know, Sergio, have you heard anything more from the Nader family?
No, we have not.
This is a tough one.
But let's just hope that we don't hear anything.
I think it's gonna be a very difficult site to work, even if it.
Yeah, I went and looked and I tried to see how, the only thing I could figure out is if you came in, if the only entrance was off of the, whatever North Jaffe Place, and the exit was onto Jaffe.
Right.
That's the only way you could do it. But by the time you do that, You don't have much space left to do anything else.
No.
Be like that Starbucks sign.
Yeah. So, yeah, okay, well, maybe I won't pursue it then. I'll just wait and see if the natives.
Yeah, let's wait and see if they do
Okay.
anything.
Okay.
Yeah, other updates,
Other updates, committee?
Tom, can you give us a brief, update on the proposed?
Outer Harbor, yeah, I've got that box here. All right, so I don't know. Got some slides from today's presentation. Folks are aware of the Outer Harbor project at all, or not?
Yes.
Committee. So the course proposal would be to start, work on this. Let me get the dates here. The cruise business history, okay, terminal volumes. With the plan, without the plan in 2028, they're expecting 250 ship calls, which would be 1,450,000 passengers for San Pedro. But if this goes on schedule, gets approved, it would go up to 270 ship calls, 1.65 million passengers. And that would be the same for the following year. It would grow to 285 in 2030, it's projected. So 1.75 million passengers. That's the economic impact we should be aware of if the Outer Harbor, opening goes through. Project overview, or just some details there. 66-year long-term ground lease. The draft of proposals was released in January 2023, so you probably discussed that. So the request for proposals come out January 2024. So those are and the final scope. I don't have a map to easily share with you, but do people have a sense of the outer area, what they're planning to do? They'll have to densify the parking development at 22nd Street, which I think this group's pretty aware of. And some power upgrades and things are on here. So I mean, I can share this because I think it's a public document. I can kind of share some of the slides there, but wasn't sure exactly. Diana saying I was like driving from the work functions running late on exactly what you wanted me to report on that. But that's the information I picked up at the last harbor meeting that I went to.
The slides in the agenda for tonight's meeting. So everyone has the slides. So are they doing? Is the RFP for a total of 4 cruise terminals? This is the part I
think we should invite Mike or somebody to come do a presentation because there is a coalition of industry leaders in the cruise ship industry that are coming together on a master proposal, which could be very exciting. And they're proposing not only a cruise ship terminal, but and Sergio may have more updated information, but also flexible event space or that the community could use for events. Because we had a presentation on this by Princess Cruises, and they said, the terminal's empty a lot of the time. So new terminals that they're building across the world have this flexible space so they can use it for events and festivals and community, luncheons or whatever we all might want to do. So it could be very exciting, some of these proposals that come in January.
Yeah.
And the economic impact for our community is huge.
And they're asking creativity from
Right,
the
exactly.
cruise lines to do stuff. We had a meeting with them. Months ago, right? So, and when we talk about downtown, sometimes we don't mention the cruise line type stuff that you can see, and so that's another.
Yeah,
big
the just to help our economic sustainability in San Pedro would be pretty exciting. So Sergio, were you gonna say something?
I was just gonna say that the RFP is gonna be written in a way that is very broad, right? So if someone is proposing that it's funded by public financing, or if someone is proposing that it's 100% privately funded or bonds, there's not going to be one that's stronger over another. So we're looking at all options. There are some, I've met with a company who builds cruise terminals around the world, but it hasn't built one in the United States yet. But they are a cruise terminal operator. I've also met with people who represent cruise lines that want to also propose. Obviously, there's some questions there, right? If you're a cruise line operator, are you really going to be open for other cruise lines coming in, take your part of your business? And so there's a lot to be discussed. But the way the RFP is written, it is written where everyone will have a full evaluation, a full chance of looking at it. There is not one financing option over another or one particular option over another. And so we are looking at all of the above.
But Sergio, I'm just super excited because we've talked to both, full disclosure, Royal Caribbean and Princess are chamber members, but I'm very interested in this coalition, if it's still forming, of the major cruise lines.
Yes.
To come in and propose together as one coalition. But you're right, I mean, there's a lot of issues around the financing.
How many terminals total are included in this RFP?
Up to 4.
It's up to 4. Two
Yeah.
in.
Everybody will put a proposal. In the perfect world, we want 4, 2 in the current area and then 2 out in the outer harbor.
So when you talk about terminals, you're talking about berths or is what terminal?
I'm sorry, berths.
Berths, yeah, there's 2 terminals, right? Outer terminal and
Right,
one inner.
that's right, yeah. Mhm.
That's
It's really
correct.
good for 6. I wonder why they're just doing 4.
Well, they get to create their own proposal. They also get to promote what stuff they're gonna be responsible for, like
That's correct.
operations, whatever. So it's very creative type procurement.
And Norwegian is not part of the consortium or has it?
I think they are. I think they are. When Princess presented, it was what is the word? I can't get it out of my. Proprietary. Thank you. Information and but I think Norwegian is one of the lines that's in the coalition.
And something I heard, I don't have documentation, maybe Sergio knows, so we even discussed with Disney, right? I mean, in terms of this being very good for the area, it does look like it could really put us in a different position. And then there's discussion about if we don't do things right, Mexico or other areas, cannibalize.
Yep.
It makes me think of another group, as I think you were there at least, just worrying about the number of hotel beds though, as we grow, right? And hearing, reading that's the important thing. So we're not sending people to Long Beach, right?
Yeah, I mean, this will make the case for our hotels to clean up their house.
Sergio, just you seem to know what's in the RFP. Is the city somehow coordinating with our department in any proposal?
I'm sorry, Pat, can you repeat that? I didn't hear you.
What is the city cost involvement in it as opposed to the harbor department?
It's a council office involvement?
Yeah. I'm fine. I just wondered how it's being set up. The other thing is, in the past, the problem with the cruise terminal, the cruise lines, is they have not wanted to do anything with the local business community because they wanted every dollar that a cruise passenger brought, they wanted spent on.
They are definitely changing that model and they're coming in with a more community-based model. And they want to engage, and I know Mona and Rock were in the presentation. They want to fully engage with the community. And that's why they joined the chamber. They're reaching the business community and want to work with our business community too on what we need for these cruise ship passengers, what they're looking for.
I mean, they
That's
mentioned
reflected in the RFP.
Right.
I've not read the RFP. I think it's released. I mean, we can send it out to everybody. I've had a presentation on it. I have not read that, but that I would say based on Princess, Royal, and then another group came in that's escaping me a couple weeks ago. I'm sorry, Parade Brain, but they are fully want to engage with the community and have incredible sustainability programs. I did the tour on Royal on their sustainability program, and it's pretty amazing. So they want to fully engage.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
I think it would be good to send a message to the port. And that engagement with the community it should be an important part of their evaluation.
I think it is, but let's get the RFP and let's get it out to everybody.
But just because an RFP says stuff, it doesn't mean you
You
can't.
have to look at the response. Yeah.
you get graded on your response to the RFP, so you don't only want to see the RFP, but also.
It's not really very creative. I do have a question.
Uh-oh, yes.
There was, by the end of the year, supposed to be a sign at the end of 6th Street.
That's PBID.
Okay,
That PBID sign is how you're
I don't know whose it is,
You bid.
but it was supposed to be there, welcome to San Pedro, and do a funnel to 6th Street and whatever. It looked great, sort of looked like a variation of the Santa Monica Pier type thing, it goes to sign up and it cantilevers over parts of the street. Does anybody know the status of that?
They were working out issues of construction. I understand it's moving forward, but I don't know completion date.
Well, they had to get, I was on that committee, they had to get, DCA approval and it took a while, so they came through with that.
They got, yes.
Weeks ago.
Okay.
And then Pat, can you just update us on the proposed,
Is it Ecosym?
not Ecosystem, the other one?
Why not Ecosym?
Ecosym?
Ecosym. Well, there's two projects that are out for comment now, environmental projects, where both of them have some really significant impacts. Ecosym is in every iteration and every product projection of its is way over the QMD standards, some of them for PM10s and PM 2.5s, which are the very fine particles that lie in your lungs and pass the cells in your lungs to your brain. Those are 864% over the QMD threshold standards. So they're putting out 66,000 truck trips a year on the streets. So it's the comment period. The comment period expires about the middle of December. Northwest Port Committee has commented, and I think Coastal has commented too. The other one that's out is called an NOP, the Notice of Preparation for a container facility or storage or parking lot. It's changed when it's on Gibson Boulevard, just north of the police station. Is an 18-acre parcel, but it's all hillside up to the freeway, and they're proposing to level out. I don't know if it's going to be high next to the freeway or the carving out down low. It's 30-foot high retaining walls. And that one originally was proposed as a container parking lot back a year ago or 2 years ago, when container storage was a huge issue in the port. They seem to address that now. So what they're proposing now is a kind of a staging area or a waiting area for trucks to, when they come in or out of the terminals. And they withdrew their prior environmental document, which was a mitigated negative declaration. Now it's notice of preparation, where you can comment on the initial study that the board did on the impacts. The initial study showed 11 areas of significant environmental impacts. The one that really counts the most is going to be the transportation one. The earlier iteration of this was 466 72-foot truck trips a day into there. It's 4 times as many now. It's 1,794 truck trips a day. Right turn only into the facility and right turn only out of it. About 2 years ago, the environmental community had a conference or something, and somebody got up and said, under California law, you don't have to count truck trips in your vehicle miles traveled or your level of service calculations for it. So both the Ecosym and the Gibson, you don't have to count truck trips. So for Ecosym, they're saying it's going to be 26 vehicle trips, workers going in and out every day. And for Gibson, it's going to be 10 truck trips a day for the workers. It'll be a 24-hour a day operation. So our committee commented and said, you know, that's never going to fly. You got to look at what are you going to do with those trucks? How are you going to turn them around? If they want to go left up and go out Bridges Boulevard, for example, you're going to go down to the corner and do a U-turn on the Gaffey, or you're going to turn right and go up Gaffey Street to Anaheim and come back down. Anyway, all of that is in the works. If you haven't, if your NCs haven't, these are really important ones. Speaking from personal experience, back when I was actually working for a living, I defended the port on the coal terminal. When it was a coal terminal at Kaiser Point and coal and coke storage on Terminal Island. I would defend the port on environmental suits filed by Long Beach groups. I had to defend the port on when the AQMD tried to pull the permits for the coal people. We get calls every day and complaints from the AQMD of people scraping the coal dust off of their boats and off of their windowsills in Long Beach. The stuff that's being proposed at EcoSem in particular is very, very fine. They're gonna grind up blast furnace slag into practically dust. It's gonna impact 4 terminals and the marinas in the back channel in terms of health risks and the traffic for 6,000 trucks a year is 253 trucks a day. So 1 every 2 minutes going by the new Wellington Park out there. I mean, these are major projects that need comment. And we've proposed one that I'd like to tell everybody about. We proposed in writing to Tim and also to in our comment letter that the board can be a group, include chamber, include the neighborhood councils and stuff, to look at an alternative rail loading, run a track down Canal Street to the terminal and load the unprocessed material. It's granulated blast furnace slag. Won't produce dust or anything. It's scrapings off the internal blast furnaces in Japan and Mexico come in. It'll be ground up here and it'll be a substitute for cement. It's eco-friendly to that regard. It's about 1/10 as less polluting than cement dust is, but it still is going to produce a lot of cement. So we're suggesting to the port, hey, bring it in and ship it out on rail cars. You can do, with 20 rail cars, you can do the same amount of transport that you do with 250 trucks. And it says that in there. And then put it, take it someplace else for processing. So 56,000 trucks a day they estimate. I don't know where they get their figure, but they estimate those are going to be averaging 73 miles each on each leg of their journey. So that's from here to San Bernardino. Certainly they can locate their grinding up process somewhere else.
Have you had EcoSem in to do a presentation?
We've met with them before they came out. I know their president and
They're chamber members, yeah,
yeah. Well,
I'm just full disclosure, I mean, we've
Oh,
had
that's fine.
several meetings with them.
and at the oral the presentation and stuff, Bruce Heyman, I guess he's your chamber president.
Yes, he is our board chair.
Not advocated in favor of the project, I'm sure.
In Coastal just approved a support letter for the project.
Coastal neighborhood council supported in spite of the letter that they came out of the port committee.
So I'm trying to reflect back to our last meeting. I think Alan, when Dean Penchip he and Richard did the motion and on a letter, and Dean talked about the pros and cons and weighing the different benefits of the eco-friendly cement versus the trips. And I don't have the exact language in mind of the letter, but it was more favorable than outright opposition. And I'm trying to remember the language.
Yeah, we've tried to, in our comment letter, we've tried to say, hey, look, the no project alternative is the only one that meets the requirements of the law because the air quality impacts are so, their DEIR said the air quality impacts don't meet the PM10 or the PM2.5 standards for any of the years under any of the 3 alternatives. No project alternatives. So I don't know why you got to go no alternative, except, if you modify 2 of the alternatives to have rail transport of the product, the port is an umbilical cord for commerce. Bring it in here and ship it someplace where it can be processed and made into the eco-friendly cement substitute. That'd be fine. It'll be non-polluting. It'll get those trucks off the street. But we'll see what they say.
Hang on, Robin, you had a comment on this?
Oh, I have a different item, so Sergio,
Okay.
go ahead.
Sergio?
Well, I have to be careful what I say because the EcoSem EIR is appealable to the city council. So that's why my words are going to be really careful. But I will say this, Elise, he attended your board chair attended the hearing,
He did, because I was at another meeting, so
and he said, I'm with the San Pedro Chamber of Commerce, and we are excited about this project and the benefits to the Wilmington community.
no, well, that
And
was
so,
not.
so
in
just
the letter
FYI,
that we wrote.
it was like just kind of like whatever, because they had just finished
Sergio,
talking about the truck.
Just so you know, that was not in the letter that we submitted. Those were his own personal comments.
Okay.
And we did
On the
not
other
submit
one,
that.
I will say that I want to echo Pat's words and encourage the neighborhood councils to submit letters on the NOP for the John S. Gibson parking and chassis facility,
Yes.
because this is the opportunity for us to tell them what we want to be studied. This is your moment. This is your time. And we had no one attend the hearing who spoke up to it, literally not one person. And so this is, if you're going to provide comments, if you want to tell the port what should be studied in this NOP, in this EIR, this is your moment. This is your time. At just approximately 1,800 one-way truck trips per day is that particular project. As Pat says, currently right turn in and right turn out. And so just really would like to have some neighborhood councils or even the chamber make suggestions to the NOP as to what should be studied in the EIR.
Oh, go ahead, Jason.
I'll add some color to what Pat said about the description of the project for EcoSim. One of the reasons it generates this dust is because you're doing it outside. Okay? This can be done in an environmentally friendly manner in other places that do similar processing in an indoor facility with filtering, so this stuff doesn't get into neighborhoods. That would not be the case if it's done open outside, so this dust can blow primarily in the direction of Wilmington, but the wind's reverse and sometimes it's going to come here.
Very good point. There is a facility like that, a cement processing facility right next door as part of the Vopak facility. They not only have a train track there, but they have a fully ventilated, facility that's rented from Vopak by Portland Cement Company, but they don't use it. They just keep it off the market because they don't want competition in there. That I got from Vopak. And EcoSim could build a covered facility on it. It costs too much for them to do it. Instead of costing 10 million to do the improvements that would keep the dust down. It doesn't still address the truck. Once you load that stuff onto a truck and stuff, you're going to have leakage from those covered hoppers. Doesn't matter what. I mean,
this is meant to be an update.
Right.
Not a discussion.
We re-agenda.
Please, Jerry, if Sim wants to.
Have an update.
I was trying to make it
Just
Tom had a comment.
or just an invitation, if EcoSim wants to, Northwest Port Environment Sustainability Committee, send them my email, I'm happy.
I will.
We have a meeting in December, if we, get quick forum to talk about it. What I thought was most compelling was seeing the maps of how much pollution went into residential areas and at illegal levels, and it was rejected by Long Beach, Vallejo, and then that city I can never remember.
That was the other point.
So
Port Hueneme.
Yep.
3 other ports looked at this and said, no way. So why do you want?
I will talk to them and see if they want to, if they will come back. I know that I know they've engaged with Pat, and I will talk to them about coming in and see if they want to have a conversation.
it'd be on our council agenda for that meeting, so that they're going to speak on it. They'd have to come in. Okay.
Very good. We're gonna move on, and Robin had another item.
Thank you, Javier. I just wanted to give a little more information on the 100% affordable housing streamlining ordinance. As I said, it just came out. It was actually yesterday. And I'm going to re-forward it to Diana and Javier, even though I know they have it in their email probably, but with a couple of notes, which is to strongly suggest you send it out to all of your land use members to review right away. Because it is different from the original proposal that we talked about not too long ago, and they've added a lot more density bonus capabilities, for example, and this really does apply more to Northwest and Central because the coastal zone is actually exempt. I've kept track of it because I'm very interested in affordable housing and promoting those projects, but it will really impact your communities because I think, again, this is the executive directive 1 turning into an ordinance, and I know we've supported some of those projects and there have been community concerns about some of those projects. So I think it's really important you do get it on your agendas as soon as possible because I'm not sure when it will go to Plum. But it's on a fast track and then it'll go right to city council. So I think we're safe this year because I don't think there's any more council meetings scheduled this year. So the soonest it would be is in January, but I still think it would behoove you to look at it in December so you can get your comments in. So I'm
Robin,
going to
this is-
forward.
This is Sergio. We actually got a briefing on it today. And I want to say, and again, I don't have my notes in front of me, that it's scheduled at a Plum meeting already.
In January?
I believe it is in December, but I
Really?
can confirm tomorrow morning and get back to, who do I get back to?
I didn't
me-
think that, but is city council
John.
gonna meet in December?
Well, no, it goes to Plum, but it may not go to council until January.
Okay,
But I
well,
will
you're right.
confirm the meeting date so that you can provide input, do your impact statement or whatever. So I will confirm and send that information to Miss Nave and
Right.
tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
I'll
for-
forward
Thank
it
you.
along with what Robin's sending me.
Okay, great. Very good. Any other item? Or we're gonna move on to public comment on items not on the agenda.
See you all at the holiday parade this Sunday,
That's right. Christmas parade, the
1 to 3 downtown San Pedro, 66th Street. Mayor Karen Bass will be joining us.
Wow.
Very well.
As well as
Before-
Councilmember McCosker.
Yay.
Before we adjourn, our next tentative meeting is for December 27th.
Is it really tentative?
I will not be here.
We will see what on the agenda, but
So Javier, I do want to say the chamber's closed the last week in
We will-
December. Yeah, we're on that.
we will figure out if we need to have a meeting.
Okay,
But thank you.
yeah, just so you know, we're.
Really gonna what's really gonna drive that meeting is when we get the rezoning, the zoning update information that we've been
Okay.
waiting for, because if we get that information, we're gonna wanna look at it.
Okay.
That has, we got that.
Yeah, so not at the chamber, it'll have to be at the Pedro.
There's a tree lighting event down at the harbor.
Holidays by the sea, after the holiday parade, the council office has snow. And there's the tree the night before, the port's doing tree lighting and at the, in front of the Maritime Museum, and it's the holiday float parade. And then the council office tree, lighting circle is December 9th at Tech Park, correct?
That is correct.
With snow.
Got Candy Cane Lane.
Snow.
Very much.
You can't
Candy Cane Lane.
Friday before, so we've got Candy Cane Lane, Harbor Float, and the San Pedro Holiday Parade.
Go for the north.
In San Pedro.
Great.
It's Saturday night. Right, yes.
That's a big power pack.
It's a big power pack weekend, and there's a great flyer which will get out to all of you that the Port and West Harbor did, showing all of the events on the 2nd and the 3rd.
Thank you, everyone. And,
Just a quick announcement, the YWCA also, I'm very busy this weekend, so Rotary YWCA are feeding 100 to 150 families breakfast with Santa. Is live again, and we're gonna have Santa there handing out the presents, so if you know people of need or other nonprofits, send folks to us, my whole family will be making pancakes all morning that, and then getting ready for your parade.
That first Thursday, we have Santa, so there you go.
Just one Santa run.
Say one.
Okay.
And North meeting in December, so.
Okay.
Santa's agents.
Thank you and good night, everyone.
Night.